welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline live in the BPTV studios. Thanks for watching the show. We appreciate you. And I hear some of you are watching on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. The others are watching on Verizon 32, all the way from Nemacolin to Cranberry, Wexford, including the city of Pittsburgh and everywhere in between. We appreciate it. And on Facebook, we hit a brand new high, 6,367 likes. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. I got Chip Hayner in the middle here and Smoking Jim Frazier on the end there. And our man Ernie was supposed to be a guest, but he had to cancel out again. He said next week he'll be here, so look for Big Ernie Cush next week.
He's got a sore paw.
Yeah, he got a little banged up. He got a little banged up and doing some things at home, so he's recovering slowly. And we got a lot of great sports for you to talk about. And we start our show each week with What's on Your Mind, and I'm going to do that with Smoking Jim Frazier. What's on your mind?
Thanks,
Smoking Jim Frazier.
The talking machine, and if you want the green,
here it comes.
You got to see Levine.
A little razzle dazzle.
Yeah, a little razzle dazzle. And want to give a quick shout out to my favorite three young Pittsburgh Pirates, Adam Frazier, who I really like a lot.
What's his last name?
Adam Frazier, and Josh Bell, and Tim Tebow. Bring him home. Bring Tim home. I like that swing.
Home to where?
To the Pirate organization. I think in a couple of years he could be a big league, Major League Baseball player, in my opinion.
It's well respected here, Smoking Jim.
But what's on my mind is, we were talking about the curse of the Pittsburgh Steelers the last few weeks, and the Steelers started in 1933, and the curse lasted until 1972. And the only thing I can think of is the only thing that could have broke the curse would have been a black Italian, and they got that with Franco Harrison in 1972. But last week we talked about a great player, Bob Ferguson, who was drafted third pick overall in 1962.
One year he lasted.
Yeah, it didn't last till he was out of the league before 63. But here's another reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers were cursed for 40 years until they got the black Italian and to break the curse. In 1955, the Pittsburgh Steelers drafted a quarterback out of Louisville by the name of Johnny Unitas. Took one look at Johnny Unitas and decided to keep Ted Marchibroda and cut Johnny Unitas. And he played 1 year semi-pro football for the Bloomfield semi-pro team.
Where were they at?
In Bloomfield.
Okay.
Bloomfield, PA, and
thanks. Just checking your facts.
Near Pittsburgh, and after that, somebody from the Baltimore Colts scouted him, picked him up, and Johnny Unitas is probably regarded as, if not the greatest quarterback in NFL history. He's in the conversation, I would say.
Did Ted Marchibroda end up coaching Johnny Unitas at one point?
Yeah. He may have. He
was the head coach of the Baltimore Colts in the 70s.
Yeah,
he might have.
So he might have coached Johnny, but that's on my mind. Hey, who gets rid of Johnny Unitas but a cursed team? And I would like to figure out why the Pittsburgh Steelers and what resulted in that particular curse. And that's what's on my mind.
Thanks, Smoking Jim. You don't think friends of Art Rooney or anything that were coaches and drinking buddies had anything to do with it? Do you? Was that part of the curse too?
Could be a theory. I don't know what the curse was, but it lasted 40 years.
Well, you keep coming up to it. You're the only one talking about a curse. They just thought they were lovable losers. Same old Steelers, SOS.
But with Johnny Unitas in 1955, who knows how many Super Bowls or championships the Steelers could have won.
And another quarterback that the Steelers drafted and cut was Len Dawson.
Yeah, Len Dawson was another one.
Another Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Yeah, Len Dawson.
I'm still not in on the curse.
And Len Dawson was a local guy from Ohio. He wasn't. He
Johnny Unitas was too.
Yeah,
you forgot to mention that.
That's true. He played against Dan Rooney in high school. Maybe that's the reason why they cut him.
I don't know. You gotta check your facts, buddy.
Next time you're out there for that free lunch, ask him.
Next time you're ready to eat that steak, see if you can find some information on
Ready to eat a steak now.
Go ahead. We'll let you go. Chip Hayner, what's on your mind?
Oh, thank you, Alan. I've got a couple of things on my mind, but in the first, I'd like to do this first segment or bit for a dear, dear friend of the show and a friend of mine, Erin Ward. And Erin Ward put a post out today that she was curious to find out what our What's on Your Mind segment is going to be, considering all the interesting fluff that we heard on the news in the sports world today. And just to make sure that, Jim doesn't get any ideas, but I think the chances of Tim Tebow ever playing Major League Baseball are about the equivalent of the same chances he has of starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers this September. Okay? So
at least you cleared that up.
Before you think, he couldn't throw a football. I'm fairly certain he's not going to be able to throw a baseball. And let's not forget, 1 out of every 10 players that go to the minor leagues make it to the pros. And I think he's going to be one of the 9
that don't.
But there's that being said. And before Jim goes ahead and has a bronze bust chiseled for Josh Bell, let me just, and I think Josh Bell at some point is going to be a very good first baseman for the Pirates. Not right yet. In the 21 games since he got sent back down to AAA, he has 0 home runs. He has 2 runs batted in, and he batted .220, with the exception of last night when he hit a grand slam. So, so he finally did wake up, but for 21 games, he wasn't playing like he belonged in the big leagues. And they do say that his fielding leaves a little bit to be desired. That's what he needs to work on. But you asked me what's on my mind this week, and there's a lot of hubbub going on south of the equator. In Rio de Janeiro, the Olympics seem to be going on, and I don't really think that there's ever been a time in my life when I cared less about the Olympics going on right now. There's so many things that have taken away from the Olympics. The fact that the entire Russian team was involved in a doping scandal, and yet a certain percentage of them were allowed to compete, while the unlucky few got banned. I don't know if everybody's doing it. I mean, you're either, it's not like you can get a little bit pregnant, is what I'm trying to say. You're either guilty or you're not. So, the Paralympics, the International Paralympic Committee banned all the Russian athletes from the Paralympics. Why not ban them all? But, that being said. Then there's the fact that the conditions that the athletes have to perform in and live in are deplorable. Now, I understand that the waters surrounding Rio are full of human waste. Now, you've got people that are running triathlons that have to jump into this water and swim to compete, and then you've got people that are kayaking, people that are rowing and other things, and they tell the athletes, well, just try not to get your head under the water. Who would want to compete in human waste? If you can't provide a better environment for world-class athletes to vie for an Olympic medal, then you know what? Disband the Olympics. Let's forget about it. It was a good thing while it lasted, but they've ruined it. And they ruined it, in my mind's eye, when they really started the professional basketball players coming in. Mm-hmm. Now, who wants to watch Olympic basketball now? It used to really be interesting to watch when you'd watch American college seniors go against the Russians, the pros and beat them. Do you realize there's only been twice in history that the Americans have not won the gold medal? Is that right? 1972, they lost the gold medal to the Russians. And in 2004, they didn't even play for the gold medal. Argentina won the gold medal. So, all those years. So why do we have to get a team that just beats the living snot out? Is Is that competition? Is that in the spirit of the Olympics? I don't believe so. I think it's a waste of time and money, but that's what's on my mind.
Let's bring it back to Greece, where they started it up again every 4 years. That's what they need to do. Just go to Greece. That's over in Europe there. It's a country.
Well, you know, and they do have like a decade to prepare the place. So what did they do? Did they store up human waste for 10 years and then decide to unleash it on the city?
No, that's what they do every day.
I mean, you know, it's unbelievable. It's a city of 12 million people, and you would think that they would have
sewage,
a healthier environment to live in.
Well,
I can't say everything I want because I don't want to get censored.
Yeah.
So I'll just leave it where I've left it.
It may not be a third world country, but it's surely a second world country, and they have a lot of deficiencies there. And Smoking Jim's not watching the Olympics either. Yeah. He went on a diatribe there yesterday. I'll make it unanimous. I haven't watched it. I've posted up some things with the Olympics, and the Olympic swimming pool looks pretty clear from what I could see in a photo or two. And with Phelps winning his 23rd medal, that's what's on my mind. There's a legend who come back, carry the flag, supporting the USA. You got to give him a lot of credit there. And he's back again.
Yeah, and you know what? And you know, I tip my hat to him. But I mean, the Olympic movement, and most of the top world-class athletes that were going to professional athletes that were going to perform didn't go to the Olympics because they don't want to get the Zika virus.
All right, let's get to our other segments. Some fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine, and just for Chip's ears only. You know, the millions of people watching us right now don't have to listen to this, but I will say in the last 9 days, Pedro's batting, Alvarez is batting nearly 500 with 6 home runs, and some of them been real bomb. So we miss Pedro, at least I do. But what's on my mind is fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. We're going to go back a little ways. I've said time and time again that probably the greatest football player in Gateway history is John Gay. In 1 year, John Gay and Harvey Smith, quarterback Harvey Smith, who's a friend of the show, they upset Penn Hills when they were probably the #1 team in the country with Bill Fralick. And Gateway at that time played at night, but they played a Saturday afternoon game against Penn Hills. It was a big upset. And then Gateway the next week lost in the playoffs at Couple Stadium to a team from Bethel Park. But
I remember
which was a huge upset. But what's fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac is John Gay's younger brother, Nate Gay, who grew to be about 6'5", 280, and he played on.
How old was he?
He was about 3 years younger than John. And he played on one of the worst Gateway teams ever. They were 6-3-1. Horrible team. And but he ended up being an all-state defensive end. He played in the Big 33 game and was the defensive player of the game. And he got a full scholarship to a Division I school that I never heard of. And
what is it?
And I remember he had mentioned in the paper. And he mentioned in the paper, and he mentioned some other times, because he was a boastful guy, that he was going to be a 4-year All-American. And I remember he came home about a week after camp. And he says he quit the team because they got the 2 best defensive ends in the country at this college you never heard of. Well, that particular year, that particular season, Bill Fralick for University of Pittsburgh was winning every award that a man could humanly win for an offensive or defensive lineman. And he won every award that year except for one. And the one guy that beat him out for one of the awards for the lineman was this guy from this unknown college that I'd never heard of at the time, and he was a defensive end. And he played at a school called Virginia Tech, and his name was Bruce Smith. And Bruce Smith went on to be, all world.
Well, I'm
And
confused. Virginia Tech, you never heard of?
at that time, I never heard of Virginia Tech. Really,
What time
until
was that?
Michael Vick went there.
What year was that?
This was probably Nate Gay played for Gateway, probably mid '80s. I didn't know there was such thing as a Virginia Tech. I knew there was a Virginia,
Yeah.
and I
You
knew
didn't
there
get
was a
out
West
much.
Virginia.
You didn't get out much then.
But until Michael Vick went to Virginia Tech, which he didn't never wanted to do, he wanted to go to Virginia, but they didn't recruit him. He kind of put Virginia Tech on the map.
Now, Bruce Smith, was Frank Beamer still the coach there at Virginia Tech when Bruce Smith? Because I know Beamer was there for 30 years or so, right?
Well, I would have to check on that. I'm not sure who the coach was, especially being that at that time I never heard of the school. Mm-hmm. And of course,
So you didn't know what a Hokie was.
I didn't know what a Hokie was, and still don't. And
Most people don't.
And it was just ironic that here's a guy that's all-state, Big 33 player, defensive player of the year. He goes to camp for a week and comes home and says, I quit the team, man. Gave up the scholarship because they had these defensive ends that was unbelievable. And it turned out to be true. Bruce Smith is the all-time leading sacker in NFL history. And
Smoking Jim,
Bruce
you've done
Smith,
it again.
Bruce Smith did for the Buffalo Bills what Joe Green did for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Now let's not go.
No, they got them. He got them to 4 straight Super Bowls.
Oh, good
and
point,
even
good
though
point,
you
good
will,
point, good point.
ridicule them for not winning, there will never be another team that makes 4 straight Super Bowls.
That's true. I agree.
And there's only one team that's ever done it.
I
So,
agree with that. That's true.
You
it is an
agree, Smoking
accomplishment.
Jim?
Huh?
You agree with
I
him?
agree. I don't think anybody will ever go 4 straight. Not even Bruce Arians.
Thanks. Smoking
Another
Jim.
Hokie.
Well, you know
Another
what? He is
Hokie.
never even going to sniff it with Carson Palmer. You know that, right?
What? They're
What?
born this year.
Carson Palmer?
The Steelers
Wait.
versus
We're talking about
Arizona.
Carson Palmer, the same one that we've been watching for 13 or 14
the
years.
number 1 pick overall in the draft.
Yeah,
Troy
and he's
Polamalu-
really bared a lot
Troy
of fruit.
Polamalu's USC roommate.
Argue nice. Let's move on. Hey, I got a message that Aaron Ward is watching the show. Dave Cable just
Hey,
messaged me.
Aaron.
So, hi, Aaron. Thanks for watching
We
Pittsburgh
love you.
Sportsline. We'll have to get you back on camera soon, sometime in another location. Stay tuned.
Go T-Bone.
Keep watching. We're going to go to Chip's Trivia time right now.
Good job. All righty. Well, tonight I'd like to make note of an event that happened on August the 9th, 1976. Something happened that night that had not happened in Pittsburgh in 69 years. And on August 9th, 1976, John Candelaria pitched the first no-hitter in Pittsburgh that had been pitched here in 69 years. So,
What an accomplishment.
An acknowledgement to the Candyman.
He
One of
used
the
to
great
live in
Pirates.
Monroeville. When he pitched that, he lived in Monroeville.
There you go. Also, get some dates in baseball to go in here. I guess we'll start at the earliest date, August the 3rd. Cleveland's Satchel Paige made his first major league start, went 7 innings to lead the Indians to a 5-3 victory over the Washington Senators. August 3rd, 1948. The great Satchel Paige.
He was like 80 at the time.
And keep in mind that he wasn't 80 then, but in August the 6th, 1952, Satchel Paige, age 46, or so he
Supposedly.
said, became the oldest pitcher in Major League history to pitch a complete game or a shutout when he beat Virgil Trucks of the Detroit Tigers 1-0 in 12 innings. And if anybody remembers the name Virgil Trucks,
I don't.
Virgil Trucks pitched back-to-back no-hitters.
Really?
Yes, and I have talked about him before on my trivia segment.
And now he come up again, Smoking Jim.
and he
You
comes
missed
up
it.
again.
But he ended up getting an Ernie shoulder?
I have no idea what happened to Virgil Trucks. But moving on, August the 4th, 1985, Tom Seaver, Tom Terrific, became the 17th 300-game winner in Major League history. I always like to make note of significant events like that. Another significant event that happened on the same day in 1985, Rod Carew of the California Angels got his 3,000th hit. He became, okay, they didn't say which one, so we got that there. Also, since we're on 3,000 hits, August the 6th, 1999, probably one of the second greatest hitters I've ever seen, even though the greatest hitter I've ever seen I only saw on highlight reels. That was Ted Williams. But the second greatest hitter that I think I've seen in my lifetime was Tony Gwynn. Yeah. August the 6th, 1999, Tony Gwynn became the 22nd major leaguer to reach 3,000 hits. He went 4 for 5 in the process. And one last thing, and this was the first time this happened in Major League history, and this happened on August the 7th, 1999, the day after Tony Gwynn, but Wade Boggs became the first player in Major League history to hit a home run for his 3,000th hit.
Really?
Very first
That's
one.
remarkable.
And being that I brought that up, on Sunday, Ichiro Suzuki got his 3,000th Major League hit. It was a triple. He is the second major leaguer to get his 3,000th hit on a triple.
We could care less.
He's the new hit king.
He joined the club, Smoking Jim.
Yeah. Now, I have ridiculed the commissioner of baseball year after year. Bud Selig really was a whipping boy for me, so to speak. But you want to hear about a commissioner that really knew how to get things done? Okay, you ready for this one? On August the 6th, 1985, Major League Baseball Players Association went on strike. On August the 7th, Baseball Commissioner Peter Ueberroth ended the strike by the Major League Players Association with the announcement of a tentative agreement. The season resumed August the 8th. Now, is that getting things done, or is that getting things done?
That's getting things done.
You go on strike one day, the next day, we've got a resolution. Now, that is a man that I think should still be in charge. August the 7th, 2004, Greg Maddux became the 22nd pitcher to get his 300th career win. And I do have to make note of this, even though in my mind's eye, the record is tainted and always will be. But on August the 7th, 2007, Barry Bonds hit home run number 756.
Yes. Say it again, louder, louder.
But a more impressive record, I feel, was achieved on August the 6th, 1972, by the true home run king of Major League Baseball. Hammer and Hank Aaron hit his 660th and 661st career home runs to break Babe Ruth's record for most home runs with one club. The 661st came in the 10th inning to give the Braves a 4-3 triumph over the Cincinnati Reds. Now that's what I call being a home run champion. And oh, by the way, he never tested positive. But that's what I got for trivia for you folks this week. Hope you enjoyed it. More to come next week.
I'm going to make a prediction. A-Rod goes over 700 tonight.
A-Rod's not even playing tonight. They're going to let him put the uniform on one more time at home, and then they're going to usher him off to the side. And they want to get rid of him so badly that they're willing to pay him $27 million next year to stay away.
Maybe he'll be like Babe Ruth in his last game, hit 3 or 4 bombs.
Mm-hmm.
If he goes to Forbes Field.
Yeah, he hadn't had 3 or 4 hits in the last month.
Yeah, A-Royd's another subject for.
Well,
Kobe shot for 61.
It's funny though how now that he isn't able to take illegal performance-enhancing substances, and his skills have deteriorated.
He's 45 now.
He's 41. He's 41. But you weren't saying that when he was juiced, right?
Well, he was a young man.
Oh, so now his age is a factor. So when Barry was hitting 70 home runs when he was 45, that's a natural
freak
thing.
Of nature.
Yeah.
He can still be hitting
a freak of the needle is what he was.
I forgot to give an announcement with Olive Oil's Pizzeria. We had a great pizza and steak hoagie from Olive Oil's Pizzeria.
Yes, sir.
I saw owner Frank. He's opening up a new Olive Oil's Pizzeria on Brookline Boulevard. So stay tuned for an opening of Olive Oil's Pizzeria in Brookline. They're working on it as we speak. Then I got another flyer here. Bethel Park Community Foundation. For you two guys that work on organizations and things in the community, Chip and Smoking Jim, You can get from $100 to $5,000. Just apply at bpcf.org. That's Bethel Park Community Foundation. They accept all applications. Get a form to fill out, and you can apply for $100 to $5,000 for your organization, you two.
We're working on it.
All right. Well, just wanted to make sure we get that out. And then in honor of Joey Fabus, the Joey Fabus Cancer Foundation, Stay Joey Strong. We end each show. Here's a photo of Joey before and after he had DIPG. It's a horrific disease. It's a death sentence. He didn't survive a year after he was diagnosed with DIPG. All the money's donated to try to find a cure and to help the doctors to do that. So stay Joey strong.
Game's delayed. Pirate game's delayed. Did you know it was raining down there?
They were predicting a chance of some rain showers.
Yeah, the tarp was still on the field at 7:05.
Is it the same tarp that was on the NFL Hall of Fame field, or is it a different tarp?
No. We need to touch on that.
Yeah, I touched on it last night. We may do it again. Last night we were on location at Atria's PNC Park for another nice show. We'll be back there August 29th because they do have some home games on Monday. And we'll be back there August 29th. So stay tuned, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. We'll have another great show at Pittsburgh Sportsline at Atria's PNC Park. You just come right into the bar and restaurant, and we'll be doing a show on stage there. So check that out. And that's what's on our location there. Now we'll go into some other things. What do you guys got on your mind?
Here's one of the things that I thought was kind of interesting over this past weekend. You know, everybody was ready and raring to see a little bit of football. Apparently the NFL didn't get that memo. But the one thing that I was really proud to see was that Tony Dungy got Donnie Shell to be his presenter at his Hall of Fame induction, and I thought that that was a really good thing that Tony Dungy did, because, you know, I know that this man to my left right here feels the same way. Donnie Shell should have been in the Hall of Fame 20 years ago, you know, and because he played on such a team that was so stacked,
sure,
you know, he didn't get elected because of the success of his teammates, but
just like guys have been delayed. There. Look how many Steelers have been delayed over the years that we've complained about not getting in.
No, Shell, right back in those days, you had Mel Blount, who was the premier cornerback in the league, and I would find it hard pressed to find somebody who would argue with you to say that Donnie Shell was not one of the premier safeties in the league.
That's true, and I'm also equally as glad that Tony Dungy chose Donnie Shell to present him, even though Tony Dungy, in my opinion, didn't deserve to go in the Hall of Fame this early, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, I guess that should keep hope alive for
Bill Cowher.
The chin.
And I think they did it for Cowher and Gruden to open the door for guys that shouldn't make the Hall of Fame until they're about 100.
So the chin shouldn't be in.
Oh, the chin should be in, yeah, but
he doesn't count.
Yeah, he's an exception to the rule.
Yeah. Your boy Brett Favre went in.
Well, before we talk about Brett Favre, we got to talk about the reverse discrimination that happened with Kevin Green. How in the world, we've been talking about this for 5 years, how Kevin Green has 32 more sacks than Lawrence Taylor, the guy that's considered the greatest sacker of all time. He did the sacks on the left side. There's not another linebacker rushing from the left outside linebacker position that has even 100 sacks, you know. And not only did Kevin Green do it with the quarterback looking at him, but he did it better than any other linebacker in the history of the game, including Derek Thomas.
Well, he's in now.
And for this guy to, I don't know why they were so upset with Kevin Green. I don't know what he had to do to get in. Out of it, I think 15 seasons he played in the NFL, 11 were double-digit sacks. 1 year he had 9 sacks here in Pittsburgh.
Do you think maybe because, you know, I mean, he played in one Super Bowl?
No, because he looked like you. That's the reason. They kept him out.
Good-looking guy.
Yeah. That's it.
Did you ever notice that nobody's ever seen he and I
That's
at
it.
the same time? I'm just saying.
That's a good point.
I'm just saying, you know. No, but, you know, I'm just wondering if, you know, I mean, I've always felt that his career was Hall of Fame caliber without even blinking an eye. He should have been first ballot without any question. But do you think maybe the fact that he played for so many years for the same old Rams, and that the only real successful team that he played for was the Steelers in a very short period in his career. He played with us for 3 years, but in 3 years he had 33 and a half sacks in the Steelers defense.
He did well.
He went into the Hall as a Steeler.
Yeah.
Which is quite the honor there.
And he probably would have done the ring ceremony with the Rams, but they never bothered to call and ask him. So
no way.
Doing it with the Steelers, yeah. So
they were practicing reverse discrimination too.
Yeah, there it is. They're out in L.A. now, and so I don't know why nobody's ever liked that guy, but what a great player. Him and Reggie White were the only two I ever seen to do the hump move, that they had, and you have to have a lot of strength to do that. And Kevin Green played the game the way it should have been played.
He played the game like he wanted to win. He reminds me of another guy that I thought was one of the toughest football players ever was Jack Youngblood.
Yeah,
he played for the Rams. He played a game. He played Super Bowl 14. He played with a broken leg.
Yeah.
It's just.
And he made tackles.
Now you get guys. They get hangnails in there. They're on a 6-week IR.
Yeah, like Artie Burns from the Steelers. But again, another guy two guys that'll never get in the Hall of Fame who I think are Hall of Fame worthy. Well, 3. Andy Russell, he may get in with the old timers. Greg Lloyd, but the guy that should be in, and he was so great and played about 20 years, was Clay Matthews.
I don't understand how he doesn't make it.
Because he don't have the sacks. They didn't sack in that era.
See, that's you can't use the criteria that you use now to judge people.
Right.
To judge previous. How did he measure against his peers at that time? And he was clearly the pick of the litter.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Great player, man. Should be in. Jack Tatum should be in my opinion.
And I swear, and I watched the Steelers go from the lovable losers in the '60s to to when Joe Green was drafted.
You seen the curse years?
But I always felt that the 3 best linebackers that I saw play for the Steelers was Andy Russell, Jack Ham, and Jack Lambert. And those 3 right there, all 3 of them were all pros.
They get the white vote.
And Andy Russell and Jack Ham, they did one thing very, very well, is they were always in the right place.
Yeah.
They never played out of position, and Jack Ham never makes a tackle.
Never. Until he hurt his Achilles this last year.
Jim, I've been keeping a watch, on different stats and things, and you did bring up the race card many times already tonight. And you just threw it out again with the 3 white linebackers there.
They got my vote too.
But you tossed that race card in there. I don't know where it comes. I don't see any color, but thanks to you, I could see it now.
Young viewers may not have known.
Well,
what's the chances that you got 3 great white linebackers today?
At that time, when you were playing
the whole complexion of the game has changed.
The 4-3 defense at that time. And you had a defensive line as stout as the steel curtain. Their linebackers could run free.
Well, enough of this nonsense.
But before we move on, Jack Hams is great, still in my opinion, the greatest outside linebacker to ever play the game.
He didn't get the statistics that
interceptions.
Lawrence Taylor, but I'm going to tell you what, that guy played as sound a game as anybody.
And he was like the Barry Sanders of defense, because he just make the tackle and go back to the huddle.
Yep.
And then Jack Lambert would rip your head off and beat you to death with it.
But that was his style.
Yeah,
everybody got their own style. Yeah. And I've met Jack Ham on more than one occasion.
Did you?
What a really nice gentleman.
Like to have a cold one every once in a while?
Well, I used to.
Why would you bring that up?
I used to.
Bartender.
I was bartending. He and his wife would come into this restaurant where I was working, and I would make them martinis.
Is that with salt?
No, that's a margarita.
Margarita. I knew it started with M.
Martinis, gin.
Smoking Jim, you're all over the place. I can't even keep track of it. I'm just happy to notice the race card come out.
So today the Steelers had a joint practice with the Detroit Lions.
I think
And they do that again tomorrow. And then Friday night, the
They play.
first of 4 snooze fests will be played. Because really, as much as I love football, how can you wrap your arms around preseason football?
I can't wait to see it. I'm going to tape it. Watch
You're
it
going to
over
tape it and
over
watch it
But
over again?
you tape all the games. You're an NFL scout, so you say. And we know you watch all the games in your spare time.
Will Ben take maybe one series, or will he take one snap?
I wouldn't play him at all.
It's
He's
probably
lost
wise.
enough weight.
You like the shape he's in.
Yeah,
It's because of you he worked out. Even
But
mentioned
you
your
know
names.
what the buzz that I've been hearing out of training camp is that one of the wide receivers that seems to be turning everybody's heads is Sammy Coates.
Sammy Coates, yeah.
Sammy Coates. They said
He's ready.
They said the day after the Super Bowl, he showed up down at the offices in Southside, and he's been here. He's got an apartment here in Pittsburgh, and he was working out at their facilities every day.
I don't believe that, but
Well, you know, I mean,
Were you there?
I don't know. I've been there a few times. I didn't see Sammy.
When
but
have
the
you
one-
been there that you weren't eating?
But here's the reason why Chip loves him the most. Sammy Coates probably, out of all the players in the NFL since Bo Jackson, when they had Antonio Brown had the celebrity softball game
yeah.
where he did not race Shazier at, and Sammy Coates hit underpitched softball 6 400-foot home runs. So he's a heck of a.
So they threw to him
baseball
underhanded.
Underhand, and he put it
400 feet
He put it
away.
into the Waffle House, brother.
that's it's good news. But I mean, the Steelers are going to need somebody to step up, take the spot of Martavius Bryant. Martavius Bryant's gone for the year. Well, you still probably at some point, I would expect in the next week, Le'Veon Bell's appeal will be heard, and probably by the end of October, we should get some kind of a ruling on it. Hey, anything's possible, right?
Yeah.
But the Steelers like to gloss over the fact that the wide receiver that they drafted in this past draft is already a bust. Artie Burns, the Steelers needed cornerback help. They drafted a kid named Artie Burns who gets more buzz from the high school coaches recruiting his younger brother, who's a great football player and track guy. Already signed a scholarship with Miami to see what high school he's going to play with around here. Artie Burns has been hurt.
I mean, what college he's going to play?
Yeah, what college he's going to play for. He's only going to be a junior in high school. All the coaches are recruiting him. Artie Burns, not only is he raw, not only did he only play 65% of the snaps at the University of Miami last year, not only did he come out as a 20-year-old junior, but he's hurt. He's injured, and the Pittsburgh Steelers need cornerback help, and they only drafted one cornerback. And this guy's hurt, he's not going to be able to help us. Even healthy, he wouldn't be able to help us much because he's raw, and everybody talks about, oh, he's learning a lot by getting burnt by Antonio Brown. How's that learning a lot? That's like somebody going in their sparring partner with Mike Tyson. I'm learning a lot.
It seems
As
that
you get knocked out.
Yeah, how to get knocked out.
It seems that Kevin Colbert and Mike Tomlin have this knack for drafting injured cornerbacks.
Thank you.
Sen-
corner.
I mean, I would love everything that I've heard about Senquez Golston. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if he can play football. I mean, he was at some point or another, he played in college, but as a pro, now that he's getting paid to do it, he's getting paid to do a whole lot of nothing. Okay, he had surgery. He's out 4 months minimum, and I'm sure there's going to be a setback.
I keep
Probably.
forgetting about him.
It's just.
Well, speaking of the defense, what's your thoughts, Smoking Jim?
Well, I think the defense is going to be great. Sean Davis, who we talked about last night, but we didn't bring his name up, is going to make everybody forget about Troy Polamalu. He's that good of a strong safety. Shazier, if he stays healthy, Shazier could redefine defensive football.
What do you mean?
Good. The way this guy can cover, anticipate, play, blitz, he can do it all. every down player. Right now, he's making Lawrence Timmons expendable. They're not going to redo his contract. And plus the kid from Temple could be coming along next year to fill in for Timmons. And then you got Bud Dupree that's just a freak of nature.
They said that he came into camp 20 pounds lighter. He wanted to be quicker, faster. He and Chicolo.
Must have gave up ribs. Well, Chicolo I love.
Well, Chicolo came in. They both came in. They worked out together. They both came in, lost weight because they were trying to get quicker. You know, then more explosion off of the snap. But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Do you think that there's a possibility, in your opinion, is there a possibility that James Harrison could get let go? How many outside linebackers are they going to keep? Chicolo's make the team, but Dupree's going to make the team.
I don't think that they would release James Harrison because I do believe that James Harrison has contributions that can be made to this team. And, you know, you're not going to get the number of snaps out of James Harrison that you're going to get out of Dupree or you're going to get it, out of, say, Shazier. But if you need to spell Bud Dupree for a couple of plays, let him get some oxygen, I mean, who better to fill that void than James Harrison? Because James Harrison still is probably one of the nastiest people in the NFL.
And don't forget we got Jarvis Too Slow Jones that's taking up roster spots.
Well, you know, he's going to get paid checks for about another 4 months, maybe 5 months, and then, you know.
And not that I'm trying to drop the race card. I'm just trying to use an analogy.
What race card?
Black man with a white name. Don't forget about Travis Feeney, who, in my opinion, is the fastest player on the team. I think he can outrun Shazier, and I'll put money up on that.
So AB didn't race Shazier?
Yeah, AB got beat. He beat Coates, AB, and Tyrone Wheaton, but he didn't race Travis Feeney, who, in my opinion, is the fastest. He's the fastest guy I've seen on that team.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you made it out to camp? Or no.
I don't go in diapers. I don't go watch football in diapers. Yeah, they don't hit. And everybody talks about it. And I love Antonio Brown. Everybody talks about, how he stays after practice and do all that. Yeah, it's because they don't do nothing. It's a country club. If you put it all out on the line during practice, then you need to get your rest as soon as practice is over. You didn't see Lambert and all those guys sticking around because they hit. So now, you know.
No, they hit twice a day. They hit.
Yeah, twice a day. And practice 3 times a day.
Remember, training camp was 2-a-days. And then how, you know, in this day and age in the NFL, you'd have the whole entire team on the injured reserve.
Yeah.
You know? And
it's safety. They did a compromise for a safety deal.
Yeah.
They're trying to save the players.
Yeah, too much saving to me. They're only a piece of meat.
And speaking of player safety, you know, what a joke on Sunday to get, you know, have all these people fly in from all over the United States for the Hall of Fame game, you know, for whatever reason they wanted to go see this football game.
In Canton?
I don't even know.
Yeah, they have.
You know, I don't even know.
You've been there.
But anyhow,
you drove there.
The fact of the matter is, how can you not get a field ready for a game? August, what was the Sunday? August the 7th? You knew last year that on August the 7th of 2016, we were going to have a football game on this field, and we needed to get it ready. How is the field not prepared?
Did you see them cleaning it up?
Yeah, they're hardened paint.
That paint was like, how could you play on that?
Too old.
Right.
The paint was too old.
But, you
No,
know,
it was fresh.
once again, here's the thing.
It was too fresh.
The NFL, they step in it, and they come out smelling like a rose. They always do, and they just print money. That's all they do. You know, they have a license to print money.
Sound like a jealous baseball fan. But I hate the guys on the bubble. Like we talked about before, Donnie Shell should be in the Hall of Fame. But Donnie Shell never would have made the NFL today because his thing was blowing people up. You know, Donnie Shell made the team going down on special teams. He was great. Like that's how Rocky Blyer did it too. Today, and this would have been a game for Donnie Shell, a 5th exhibition game. He doesn't play. They probably send him back to South Carolina State tomorrow.
Wow.
You know, I mean, Chuck Noll had a way of recognizing who the football players were.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, now, and if you used all the metrics that they use today to judge whether or not a person can perform, Well, you use all those metrics, you get a Jarvis Jones. You know, if you just look at guys that can play football, you get players like Donnie Shell.
What do you think of analytics in baseball? I know you guys hate
You know what, Jim? I'm glad you asked me that
hate it.
because you know, they have so many different categories, and what each of them means.
It's a simple game.
You know, it's you know.
Try to hit a baseball with a bat.
Hit a round ball with a round bat.
I see a lot of people doing it.
Not a lot.
You got 9 defenders. That's why they go. That's why they don't get hit.
No, they don't get hits because they strike out 200 times a year. They went to the Pedro Alvarez school of swing and miss.
Well, I was waiting for your comeback on that.
No, but getting on to the Pirates. You know, last week Pirates had a really miserable road trip. They lost 2 out of 3 to Atlanta. They got swept by the Brewers. They come back home amid a lot of turmoil. Friday night, good game.
Yes, sir.
The Pirates won 3-2, bottom of the 9th. Sean Rodriguez.
Wow.
Stand up to cancer night, and I thought it was really moving at the 7th inning stretch. Everybody had their signs for their loved ones that had been afflicted with cancer. Every player on both teams had a card. All the umpires had a card. Even the policemen that were guarding the gates in the field. Everybody in that stadium had the cards to stand up. It was really quite a moving evening. Then you move on to Saturday night. Saturday night, Ivan Nova pitched his first game in a Pirates uniform, and he pitched very well. He gave us 7 solid innings. Pirates again beat the Reds. Well played game, well pitched game. Tony Watson got his second save as a Pirate reliever. And the funny thing was that on Friday night, Tony Watson came on and gave up the game-tying run in the top of the 9th. Mm-hmm. Okay, so tied the game at 2-2. So he blew his save opportunity, but Sean Rodriguez on the third pitch made him a winner by hitting a ball into the left field seats. Great, I'll tell you what.
Good baseball.
For me, watching a walk-off win in the bottom of the 9th inning is about as exciting as it gets.
Even when they hit you with a pitch.
Even whether they hit
like
you
the
or
Cardinals. Did you hear that about that?
Yeah. Yadier Molina got hit by a pitch. And you know what? The guy that hit him with the pitch was the same guy that gave up the home run to Sean Rodriguez on Friday night.
Wow.
Yes, sir. And that was Ross Ollendorf, who used to pitch for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
That's some good trivia.
See that? I got it all.
He got it.
But, the Pirates, their season has been disappointing to say the least. Still above 500. And they're only a couple of games out of the wild card race, but there's just been so much turmoil with the starting pitching staff and McCutcheon's not playing up to his capabilities, and there's grumbling about the coach.
Do you think Cut should have cut his hair? I just got to bring it up again because he paused on it. He forgot.
Yeah, that has absolutely nothing to do. But
just threw that in there for smoking Jim Frazier.
I think what the Pirates were forced to do this year, because the experiment that they tried with their starting pitching staff was a failure.
Yeah,
they got rid of 2 of the biggest culprits, Liriano and Neese. I don't know if we're ever going to see Jeff Locke start another game in a Pirates uniform, but okay, so we were forced to bring up our young arms sooner than we would have liked.
Sure.
So what are they going to do for the next 53 games, counting tonight's game? 53 games left in the season. We're still in it, but the Pirates just can't seem to get on that roll. They can't seem to get that 5 or 6 game winning streak.
They get a couple games.
They get a couple games. By all rights, they should have won that game on Sunday. Josh Harrison came inches away from hitting a grand slam.
Yeah, he did.
To tie the game up on Sunday. But, they're playing a horrible Cincinnati team. And even, they still won 2 out of 3, which is what we need to do.
Yeah.
They should have won 3 out of 3. Now, we've got the Padres in town for tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday afternoon.
Easy win.
The kid that's pitching tonight is a rookie. His ERA is 6.67. Now, with the starting lineup of Josh Harrison, Starling Marte, Kutch, and Polanco. They ought to cream this dude. But it seems that these young kids seem to own our bats, and I don't understand why. I mean, this is a team that is absolutely the worst team in baseball, and they've got the worst pitch. They've got a pitching staff that's worse than the Pirates.
Yeah.
And we should just basically this should be a game. 3 like softball scores coming up, but we'll see once they get the tarp off the field, and
like we said all along, hitting a baseball is one of the easiest things to do in sports.
No, let me see you do it. And we'll get the underhand toss machine. Okay.
We may do it in the room here. Get the underhand toss. Smoking Jim is in rare form when it comes to baseball.
Yeah, he is.
He knows his NFL. Even though he never heard of a team. That's got to go down in history. An NFL scout. Never heard of Virginia Tech.
I never heard of Virginia. I was, of course,
back then he wasn't a scout.
Yeah.
He was
What was it?
I was barely out of diapers there. Yeah.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Mid '80s.
He was writing his chapters of his memorable football career at Gateway. How many of the record books are you in?
I was hanging from the jungle gym, bro.
I don't know about that. We're trying to find that date. I'm looking into it. Once we get the race card out of there, we'll find out.
Don't you worry.
Well, we covered the Buccos.
Covered the Buccos. We covered training camp. We covered the debacle at the NFL Hall of Fame.
Bad
Hall of
paint.
Fame game.
Bad paint.
No.
They had to shovel it up.
But you know what? They're worried about player safety. Do you realize that in the 4 preseason games, that the owners generally make about $200 million for the preseason games?
Man, the players don't get paid.
And the players don't get paid for these games. They're not drawing. They're not drawing game checks. And I just find it laughable that the owners, when you sign up for your season ticket package, and here's a season ticket owner for how many years, you're not paying any less for the preseason games than you are for the regular season games, and that's ridiculous. They actually what they should do. You want to build some real fan.
Give them away.
Yes, you should give them away. As a matter of fact, I heard somebody mention today that seats in the 500 level at Heinz Field for this Friday night's game, they're going for $10.
There you go.
But that's not through the Steelers. That's because people they can't give them away.
Okay, yeah.
That's not bad. $10.
They're probably, even Peanut Heaven's probably close to $100 a ticket.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's $500.
And, if I'm going to pay the ticket price, I want to see Roethlisberger at quarterback. I want to see Bell. I want to see Brown. I don't want to see them standing on the side. I don't want to see Ben wearing a hat backwards, standing on the sidebar.
Still the same uniform. The guys is still the same uniform. They don't play with different uniforms.
Huh?
But like I said, me and Coach Tomlin, we butt heads every once in a while, even though I have him in the top 5 coaches in the NFL currently, before I had him between 28 and 32. But he did some things last year that I didn't like. Like you said, Chip, these guys don't get paid for preseason or anything. And Coach Tomlin last year cut a couple players who were drafted and then re-signed them at a lower salary because he felt that they wasn't working hard enough, in his opinion. I thought that was Bush League. Here these guys, and those guys are still on the team now, so that makes me think that, guys are setting the example the wrong way. The wrong way.
Well, and I don't know what the specific instances are, but, I do find this a lot in some people, but they feel that they're entitled to a position. And I think, whether you get drafted or whether you sign as a free agent, you got to earn your spot on that team. And you got to want it, and you got to show up every day and work hard. And, just because you were drafted don't mean that you can half-step it through your drills. And, the way to get the message across to people, you got to make an example of somebody. Sometimes it's a good thing. Some people need that kind of motivation. Other times it can blow up in your face.
Well, if you want to impress me, you should have traded Martavius Bryant last year. That would have impressed me. Now you have a reason to trade a guy because this is a guy that can't get off that weed. So.
No, we'll see what happens with him.
It's out for a year. As good as he can.
Well, yeah, the only fortunate
next
thing
year.
is
Does he
that
get
we
a
don't,
ring? Does he get a ring if they win the Super Bowl?
not this year, but they still, because he's not under, well, he's not, but I mean, we'll still have him, control of him for
Yeah,
2 years
yeah.
after, so we don't lose a year like we're losing with Senquez Golston his
So-
second year. And then then you have somebody like Jarvis Jones who collected paychecks for 3 years
Yeah.
and spent,
But he was on the field.
well, he was.
Only way I would let Martavius Bryant come back for the Steelers if he snitched on his drug dealer. Other than that, he can't come back.
Why do you even want that?
Because he's probably got the whole team. Probably got the whole team.
You and Ryan
Call
Clark.
Blue.
You and Ryan Clark. Go give Ryan Clark a call. He'll tell you.
Yeah, that's true.
He parlayed that
That's how he
in
got
ESPN.
He does good too.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Who never
ESPN,
thought he could do
Brother
good?
Ray, he lost his job over at ESPN.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't very good.
Oh, I thought he
wa-
was.
He smiled real nice after the
Yeah,
games.
he wore them nice glasses, made him look intelligent.
What'd he do? How'd he lose his job?
And
By doing what he
was
did?
just terrible. He was terrible. He was the worst.
Well, Marino was good, and he still lost his job.
Well, they decided to go in a different
They
direction.
threw the white card out. They changed it up. Unbelievable.
He'll land on his feet. Ray will land on his
What was
feet.
it? What was the guy that Bart?
Oh, yeah. He's working for.
What was his
Gentleton.
name? Yeah,
Bart, who's Bart's
Oh,
linebacker.
yeah, that guy that hated. I hated Heinz Ward. Bart Simpson, or whatever. his name
Yeah,
is.
whatever.
Well, look at Heinz Ward still. What's he on national TV?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
still around.
How does
yeah.
he stay
He does.
on?
He does the Notre Dame. Well, I mean,
He's doing well.
that Mirrorball trophy, huh?
Huh?
I said, must be that Mirrorball trophy.
Maybe. It could be.
Antonio
we're-
didn't get that, did he?
No, he should have.
We're down to the last minute and a half here. Smoking Jim, what's happening?
Nothing.
Okay, we'll move on. Chip?
Thursday day baseball. That Pirates at the Padres are playing the Pirates here. I'll be down there for a Thursday afternoon game.
Smoking Jim will be with you.
They're selling tickets for $10.
I heard he's getting a
Can't
couple.
give them away. I bet you the Steelers out.
What?
Their ratings will be higher than the Pirates here in the exhibition game. Yeah.
You think? I'm not watching
Well,
it. I usually don't, and I won't. So
I mean, a Thursday afternoon game, people do have to work, Jim. Friday night game, come on.
hold it. Smoking
Compare
Jim's going to be
apples
there.
to apples. If you're going to be there, you come find me.
He might have a hard time doing that.
I'll buy you a soft drink.
Get him a ginger ale. Would you do that for him? Well, thanks everybody for watching the show. Thanks Devin Shea in the control room, and thanks for letting us go without a cameraman by taking Connor and putting him in the control room and teaching him how to direct the show. So we appreciate what you've done. Thank all of you for watching us on Comcast 7 and Verizon 32. We appreciate it. Keep bumping into people out there. They love the show. So I just wanted to tell you guys that. So we appreciate you, and stay Joey strong.